Yesterday, I gave you guys a brief glimpse into the troubles I had getting from Defuniak Springs, Florida to Houston, Texas for the Food Truck Owners Expo Media Day. Well, today I'm going to tell you what happened during that Media Day. Welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I am a food truck business coach, author of 5 food truck vending books, including Food Truck 101 and Food Truck 201. This podcast is all about helping you start and grow your food truck business. How confident are you about your menu pricing? Are your prices profitable, or are you just scraping by? If you're not sure, I've got just what you need. Table Needs has built a super simple menu pricing calculator that you can use for free, and it will help you figure out the best price point for every item on your menu. Get started with Table Needs menu pricing calculator today at tableneeds.com, or you'll find a direct link in the description below the podcast. Yesterday, we left off with me heading down to the lobby to meet the folks from the Food Truck Owners Expo and then getting our media day started. So if you remember, I have only had about 4 hours of sleep, and it was broken sleep. An hour, then another hour, and then about 2 hours. All of it in a truck, a pickup truck. So, it wasn't the most comfortable of sleep, and I'm 6'3", so if you can imagine somebody 6'3" trying to sleep in a pickup truck, not a lot of fun. So anyway, I am all showered and shaved, and I am ready to go. They take me to the Humble Civic Center, which is an absolutely beautiful building, relatively new from my understanding, and they take me all through it. It is a huge facility. There's going to be a ton of people there presenting, at least I'm hoping, for them to fill up all this space. They showed me the different classrooms, and they showed me the classroom they're going to have me in, which is pretty big, so I hope I can fill that up, as well as the area they're going to have me in to do the little campfire sessions. They asked me to record a couple of promos for them to help get the excitement built up. And it was one of those, they really didn't have a script or anything for me to read. They just said, this is what we want you to say, so please say it. And then they tried to figure out the best place to put me that would show off the facility a little bit, but still be all about me talking and inviting people to the Food Truck Owners Expo. So I did one take, and they were like, wow, that's pretty good. But you know how camera people are and content creators, they want 3 or 4 takes. So each subsequent take was not as good as the first one, at least in my opinion, but they kept them all. And we took them from a couple of different angles. And then they showed me everything about the Civic Center. And it is a big facility. I think it's lacking in parking, but I didn't see the entirety of the parking lot, so they may have additional space elsewhere that I just couldn't see. But in any case, it is a huge, beautiful building. They showed me where there's going to be food service. They're going to have food on site, not food trucks, because this is not a way to promote food trucks. This is a way to help food truck owners understand more about the industry, do a lot of teaching, a lot of education, as well as having exhibits of food trucks, POS systems, insurance agents. There'll be a lot of different support partners there showing off their wares. And I hope everybody that lives within driving distance of Houston comes out. So anyway, I was super impressed with the Expo people. They were unbelievably nice to me. I was super impressed with the Humble Civic Center. And then they took me to where the reception is going to be held. I'm not going to name the food truck park. It is a new food truck park not too far from the Humble Civic Center. It itself is relatively new as well. It has a beautiful building. Its motif is car garage, and it's a sensible motif. You walk into it, the place is spick and span clean. It's got set up spots all around the building for food trucks to park in. They have water, sewer, and electric connections, so it makes it real easy on the food truck owners. So I was quite impressed with it. They have a park, a huge park for kids to play in with, the typical park apparatus, swings and zigzag slides and that kind of thing. So it was a nice little area for younger kids to play. Plenty of seating. Like unbelievable amounts of seating. They have picnic tables, huge, probably 6 or 8 foot picnic tables, and they've got dozens of them. I couldn't even begin to guess how many they have, but they have a lot of them. They're all real pretty. It's all nice wood. They are all covered in a deep shellac, beautiful tables. Played music a little bit loud for my taste, and it was not exactly the kind of music you would expect in Houston, Texas, but probably more appropriate to a dance hall. And I'm not talking country music dance hall. I'm talking electric music, that type of thing. But still, very inviting place. I went around and took pictures of all of the trucks that are around the main building. And again, it's a huge, huge building. And then I walked all the way around the facility because I wanted to check it out, because that's what I do. I want to be very aware of my surroundings and also be aware of what's going on. Front part of the parking lot is all concrete, beautiful. Not very well laid out. It's very disorganized in the way that it looks, especially with the positioning of the food trucks. But it works. The back, however, is not concrete or blacktop. It is gravel. So it's a little disconcerting to go from a concrete, really nice look to, ooh, this looks like a construction area in the back. And it could be at some point they're going to finish that out and then cover it up with, either concrete or a blacktop. In either case, it looks a little bit more like it's under construction in the back. And that's okay. But when you start to do a car count of where people can park compared to the number of food trucks, you can see it's going to be congested really, really quickly. As I started looking at the food trucks, I realized that the way the parking lot was lined out doesn't match up with how the food trucks were parked. The food trucks seem to be a little bit more helter-skelter as far as their positioning goes. And as I started to look at it, I realized that, man, some of these trucks are way far away from where their water connection, sewer connection, and the electric connections were. And then it hit me. Every single spot that's around that building is lined out to be a 20-foot truck, except that not all trucks are 20 feet in length. They've got to have room to swing the door open. They've got to have room to have a tongue if it's a trailer. It takes a tiny, tiny food truck to fit within a 20-foot spot. And that became the problem. There were a lot of upwards of 30-foot trucks and trailers there that couldn't fit in the spots they had lined out. So whoever designed it wasn't really familiar with the food truck industry. So that's a little bit of a problem. Next problem, the staff was not aware we were going to be there. Now this happens. I've run restaurants. There's been times when somebody scheduled a birthday party and whoever took the scheduling forgot to tell us. It happens. But the expo people were very thorough and they talked to the owner. They wanted to interview the owner and make that a part of the content they were recording that day. So they could, again, advertise his business a little bit and get people excited to come out for the reception that we're going to have in between day 1 and day 2 of the expo. Staff didn't know. The owner knew, but didn't tell the staff. The owner wasn't there. The owner was on vacation. And the expo people took it all in stride. Now, me being a business person, not acceptable. This is the hospitality industry. If you make a promise to somebody, you keep it. You can't schedule something and then realize, oh crap, I have a vacation. I forgot. You don't forget your vacation. Now this vacation was out of the country, so it was a very well-planned vacation. That would be something you just don't absent-mindedly forget. Here's the next problem. Since the staff didn't know we were going to be there, they just set us up or let us set up in a corner. Awesome. All we need is a space. They turned down the music for us so we could actually record stuff. Otherwise, it just would have been a very difficult time trying to record anything. It was fairly windy that day, so going outside was not going to work. So they gave us a little corner, which was perfect. We get all set up, and we spend the rest of the day recording some podcasts. We have people coming in and out that record some stuff. Some of them talk to me. Some of them just record podcast stuff. It was a relatively productive day. When they didn't need me on camera, I was looking around all the different food trucks. Here's what I saw. I saw one food truck that has vinyl lettering on its window that says sold out. Okay, and you're thinking, well, that's pretty smart. You go out and close the window and it says sold out. Here's the problem. We were there at noon, so this food truck wasn't open yet. There was only a handful of people there anyway, so that's okay. But they were obviously preparing to cook. Now, as someone who knows food trucks, I'm looking at it going, well, that's just dumb. They're here preparing for a day with a sign that says sold out. So if I'm a consumer and I'm going to eat from them, why would I wait for them to not be sold out? I would assume they're sold out. They're getting ready to leave at any point. So I ignore them. Don't put a sign on your window as a part of your design that says sold out. Selling out's not a good thing. Selling out is you losing money. Selling out is you leaving money on the table because you don't have food to serve people. If you're happy selling out, set your standards higher. Serve more people. Make more money. Make your life easier. Walked around to another food truck that has a television as its menu. I didn't realize the TV was on, showing its menu. I just thought, well, they'll turn it on sometime. I didn't notice until I was looking at the pictures I took that you could just barely see the lettering. Still have no clue what it says, and I took a picture of it. So if I took a picture of it and you can't see because of the glare, no one knows what they sell. And it stayed that way the whole day. I kept thinking, when are they going to turn that on? It was already on. You just couldn't read it. Went to another food truck. They have in their name a product. They actually have it as Dose and that food product. And I'm not going to mention them because it could embarrass them. But we have people go up and order that product. It's their name. No, we don't have any. We don't cook that till Wednesday. Well, why is it your name then? Don't call yourself a hot dog and then don't have hot dogs. Of course, they didn't sell hot dogs, but that's not the point. The point is if your name has a food product in it, you might ought to carry it. I worked at Burger King. There were 2 times in the 8 years that I was there that the broiler did not work. And yes, that was a pain. Do you know how many people had to make the joke, it's Burger King, y'all can't sell burgers? Hilarious, dude. If I could sell them, I would, because I don't want to hear the stupid people saying, it's Burger King, why ain't y'all got burgers? It happens. But as a course of their operation, they don't cook this product until Wednesday each week. So that means Monday and Tuesday, they don't have the product. And it's in their name. Go up to another food truck. It is literally covered in 8.5 by 11 pictures of the food with the name and the price underneath it. I stopped counting at 27 pictures. All that becomes is a confusing wall of photographs. And you know what? Out of all the food trucks that were there, they probably had the most unique menu, but they had the fewest people because it was a chaotic mess trying to figure out what they sold. Go up to another food truck. The owner said, I'm always camera ready, because they wanted to interview owners. He was the only one out of all the food trucks that were there and in operation that wanted to be on camera. When someone comes up to you and wants to film you and is going to be put on social media, seize the opportunity. If you're not camera ready all the time, you're going to find yourself being embarrassed when somebody wants you to just grab that quick photograph, that quick little short video they're going to post on their social media and tag you in it. Well, I'm not camera ready. Okay, well, you're not food service ready either. No one cares what you look like. No one's getting ready to ask you out on a date. What they do care about is your personality. What they do care about is what you can do for them when you're selling them food. So I looked at, again, all the food trucks that were there. Took a lot of pictures. Took a picture of every single one of them. There was one food truck that had a name. Won't mention the name, but the name made no sense. It didn't talk about food, didn't talk about what they were, didn't really say it was a food truck. If you were to see it driving down the street, you would look at it and go, well, that is a food truck because they have a porch and they got this smoker type equipment on the back. So you'd say, well, that's a food truck. But there are no other graphics. No, nothing. Just a vinyl letter name. And it's not even real big vinyl letters, but a vinyl letter name that doesn't say it's a food truck. No social media contacts, no telephone number, no nothing else. A plain truck with a 3-word name that doesn't say food. So we watched them preparing their food. And then we realized it's not a smoker that they have, it's a boiler. They do seafood. The only reference to seafood, and it's not the seafood they sell, was a plastic lobster hanging off the porch. They don't sell lobster. That was the only reference to that even being food. They, too, were not busy the whole day. Several trucks did not open until late into the afternoon. Now, as an owner of a business, if I'm going to rent you a spot and I operate a bar, I'm going to expect you to be open when I'm open. That's one of the complaints this place has in the reviews, because I read the reviews. People are mad that the food trucks are sitting there, they're not ready to be open. Now, I'm sure you're going, well, I don't own a food truck and I wouldn't be open from noon to 4 because it's going to be slow. Then don't park. It's that simple. If I go to this place who advertises having 15 unique food truck menus, and I go there at lunch because that's when I'm hungry, and I find that a quarter of the food trucks aren't open, to me that's false advertising. You brought me in on 15 unique menus, but there's only 10 open, then say that. People are paying a crazy amount of rent. I'm not even going to say how much it is because it's too much. But they're paying it. I talked to some of the owners that I knew personally, so I knew it wasn't going to be hyperbole on what they were making. And they said they've been there for a couple of nights and they've done $3,000 in a night. They were super happy. They can't wait to get back there. And they sell a good menu. And their menu actually was more unique than some of the trucks that were there. They could do $3,000. They were super excited. So if you use them as a basis that all the trucks are doing $3,000, that place is pretty darn busy. But it lacks sufficient space for parking. It lacks variety. It lacks organization. What's making it be so busy is because it's so darn new. So let me continue on with what happened the rest of the day. So we couldn't film the owner because he was off on a vacation out of the country. The staff changed 3 times while we were there. So every new staff had to come on. What's them people doing in the corner over there? Had to be told. The expo people were buying drinks for anybody that came in to talk to us. So we had to explain the tab system to the bartenders 3 times. Anybody comes up with this little ticket, please add it to our tab. Give them whatever they want. So we had to explain that 3 times. Then, at the time that our official reception was supposed to start, well, we've invited all these food truck owners to come in and talk to us, and I've invited several to come specifically to talk to me. And of course, the expo people have been advertising, so they had a lot of people that were coming in as well. A bunch of people I didn't know. So there's people coming in and sitting down and talking to us. And then we see this one scraggly guy come in. He's got big, long beard. Looks like he should be from Mountain Monsters, if you're familiar with that TV show. Comes in and says, y'all in my spot. Okay. We didn't know this was anybody's spot. So we had to go talk to the bartenders. And they said, oh, by the way, we have karaoke tonight. And this is where they set up. So the first shift, the ones that put us in that corner, didn't know there's karaoke that night. Or if they did know, they didn't understand how long we were going to be there. But in any case, it was messed up. So we compromised. Said, hey, if you can just give us till 6 o'clock so we can start, talk to our people, get some videos and that kind of thing, then we'll vacate. And the guy's, well, okay, that's fine. So then he starts to just go ahead and bring his equipment in, which is just off our cameras, and sets it all up there and has that pensive look like, hurry up, y'all, hurry up, y'all. Then around 5:30, 5:45, he decides that it's time to do a microphone check. Walks all up and down with a wireless microphone to make sure it will stay connected. And then he's making a whole bunch of racket. So now we can't film anything. Then they start singing. And this singing was the exact same thing that movies make fun of. It was that bad. So I gathered up all the people that were there talking to me, and we go outside. Now again, I told you it was windy there. And of course it was very sunny. So we tried to find a place where it was semi-shaded, and we had a little bit of chance of being able to sit there without being wind burned. Find a place, sit down and talk. And I'm able to talk to a number of different owners. It was a good conversation. I'm looking for the people that I invited. They finally come in, sit down, and we have a great conversation. They catch me all up on what they've been doing, and it was a wonderful time. The people made this adventure for me awesome. The expo people were great. The folks that I invited out to talk to me at the reception, they were great. The people that I brand new just met that came in because of the advertisement that the Food Truck Owners Expo had been doing, people I did not know, they were awesome. Several of them were sitting there taking notes and trying to learn stuff. Others were talking about their experiences. We met one guy that's been in business 14 years. And we met one guy that's been in business 2 weeks. And a whole bunch of people in between. It was a good time. So if you guys are anywhere near Houston come July 29th and 30th, come out and see us. Come out and learn. I'm going to be giving 2 different classes. Plus, like I said, I'm going to be talking out on the floor all day long. People can come and sit and talk to me all day long. There's so much value that they're giving. Tickets aren't that much. You can just, for $35, come sit and talk to me all day long. You want to go to my classes, it costs a little bit more. But you get everybody's classes, not just my 2, but everyone that's giving anything to do with an educational talk. They'll be off in a separate room. That's also included if you buy the more expensive tickets, about $120, I believe. And then we're doing the whole thing again come November in Orlando. This is a big deal, y'all. This is the first one, the first official food trucks specific expo. And it's just like everything that starts. There's little hiccups, little hitches. Little things that go bad. It's okay. I made it to Houston when everything was telling me, you probably shouldn't go. But we drove all night because it was that important to me to be there to meet my obligations. I said I would do something, and I did it. So hopefully that kind of explains why I hate seeing sold out. Hate that sign. Because you didn't meet your obligation. Selling out occasionally is understandable because it happens. Selling out as a consistent part of your operation to the point where you put a sign on your door, sold out. You're not keeping your promises. So the last little bit of the trip, about 7 o'clock that night, remember I only had 4 hours of sleep. 7 o'clock that night, I was getting wiped out. And they could tell I was getting tired. They said, hey, you about ready to call it a night? And I was actually talking to someone that was explaining to me about how the food truck park there worked. And it was very interesting to me, but I was getting tired. I was just letting him do all the talking because I really was to the point where I couldn't even think. So they pulled me away from that conversation and asked if I wanted to go out to eat or if they wanted to drop me off at the hotel, go to the hotel and pick up Melissa, and let's all go out to eat. So I called Melissa, and she said, nope, why don't you just come on home, grab a bite, and we'll go to bed. Because she was still kind of tired, too, even though she'd stayed in the hotel all day long. And that's what I did. I had them drop me off at the hotel. Melissa had already gotten some dinner, and she gave me what she had for leftovers, which was fine with me. I laid down and went to sleep. And then she and I got up early the next morning and drove home. And then we went to the store the next day, got food, and opened up our food truck. You do what you got to do. But like my dad always said, can't never did anything. If you start to look for excuses on why you can't do something, you've already started the road to failure. Look for reasons why you can do something. Look for a way to make it happen. Thank you so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding all the information helpful to your food truck business, please become a monthly supporter of the podcast. Just hit the support button or follow the link in the description. Every little bit does help keep us going. Join our Facebook group. It's called Food Truck Training. We have a whole bunch of awesome members at all different levels, from brand new beginners to decades-old veterans. They've all got your back when it comes to helping you with your food truck. And again, thank you for listening. Come back tomorrow, because you know I got plenty more to say when it comes to helping you and your food truck business grow.